So to demonstrate some improvements that's been had with our cloth system, we must make this cube a little more interesting. So we'll tap into edit mode, right click, subdivide, Shift R, and now our cube is a little bit more interesting. Let's Control 1, put a subdivision on top, and we're at least ready to begin. If we press Q and go under add modifier, we can add a cloth, and let's just click play. So we see that it's already falling down, and that's because of gravity. So we click on gravity, we're able to type in 0. Let's also set it up to restart our timeline on value changes. So now we have our pillow basically sitting in place because every time we roll the wheel, it'll actually update the timeline. So from here, let's lower our pressure to something like 0.3 just to have a little fun with it. And let's also play with our shrink. So I'm just scrolling up my shrink to give it as much shrink as needed for this, just to get something really interesting. And we could just click to apply. So you saw me go in and create this cloth object by adjusting the gravity in order to get it to sit still. However, generally whenever you first use cloth, there's a pinning group that's actually created for it. So we added an option for users to be able to go through and select which vertex group that they're pinning from. So right now we're actually pinning on Hops cloth, which uses all the sharp marked edges. If we were to go back to frame 1 with shift left arrow, and we jump into weight paint mode, we see that we basically have no weight set. So let's just do a little bit of painting just for fun. Because we had no sharp marked edges, no edges were added to the vertex group, resulting in our cube just falling down. But if we press Q and we go under cloth, we now can click on play, and let's actually put our gravity back. So now we actually have it sagging, but it's using our vertice group. Well, what if we actually wanted to use 0 gravity? Or what if we actually wanted to use some gravity, but we wanted to use no vertex group? Well, now these options are actually possible inside of the HardOps cloth modal. So in the event that you need to actually pin a very particular vertex group and then get in and deal with things more intimately, you can. And then of course, after exiting, we'll just go through and add another subdivision on top of it to just get our cloth looking a little bit better. But anytime we want to go through and edit it, we can always just go back in and just modify our settings on the fly, and then of course play it back to get the sim. And you can also choose to apply your modifiers on exit and then click to apply them whenever you exit, which will apply those modifiers that built up to this moment. So to create something a little more interesting, let's press Q, sharpen, and we've now sharpened some random lines. However, we want to unmark them as well because we don't want them to be sharp marked. We just want them to be calculated whenever we activate our cloth again. So let's bring up our cloth and let's click it, and we see that everything's just being held in place. So let's just apply that without actually applying everything. And then we can go in edit mode and actually unmark this, because now whenever we simulate it, the vertex group has already been generated. We'll just put a subdivision on top of that, and we're able to exponentially keep playing with our cloth in order to get a desired result. In fact, I'm going to press Q, go under add modifier, go back to cloth, and just keep playing with the shrink in order to get just the amount of bulge that I want happening with this particular cloth. And then we could even go back in and add advanced levels of gravity. So if we want to bring it down by a lot, we can, and just have this being some saggy drooping cloth by just increasing the gravity to say something like 60, which will really bring it down. And then we could just roll in pressure depending on what we're going for with this. But just wanted to show some improvements that's been had with cloth and adding vertex groups and dealing with them on the fly, as well as manipulating them and disabling them in the middle of your sim if needed.